How to really rewire your subconscious mind for abundance, for wealth. A lot of people don't really realize that you can actually earn whatever you want. It's a program. What happens is we get into a job, we get into a business, and we get stuck there. We get stuck in that same level of income. I want you to think about it. Just imagine that you've got a job right now and it's paying you, let's say, I don't know, $50,000 a year. And it's very unlikely that you're going to go out looking for a job that pays double, that pays 100,000 a year or 150,000 a year. Why is that? Most people would have a job. Let's say you're in a job, you're in a business, whatever you're in, right? Your income's like stuck at 50 grand a year. You might go to improve it by going up to sort of, well, let me find something with sort of 55 or 60. I want to have a little improvement. But how many people actually believe that they can actually double their income? Think about how much you're earning right now and think about doubling that in the next 12 months. So what's the first thing that comes into your mind? How's that going to happen? It's impossible. Maybe you've been stuck at a certain level for like the past 5 or 10 years, and you've had incremental increases in your income, like 5 grand, 2,000, 3,000 a year, an increase. But what's really stopping you from doubling your income in the next 12 months? So what's really stopping you? Think about it. There's going to be lots of different things. You might say, well, I'm not really skilled. I don't really have any education. I don't really have too much knowledge. But that's not where you want to be starting. For many years, I was stuck in my income. I didn't know what I had to do if I was going to earn 5,000, 10,000. The number one thing is a lot of people don't even set themselves financial goals. Like you want to earn 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. Most people don't even set themselves a goal. They don't write out exactly how much money they want to earn. Why is that? Look at how much time people spend in general planning their next holiday, the next summer holiday, big vacation with their family. You spend so many weeks like looking at different destinations, looking at different like hotel resorts, like flights. What time shall I fly out? Shall I fly out in the morning? Shall I fly out in the evening? Do I get economy? Do I go like economy plus? Do I go business class? How much time is spent planning the smaller things in life versus planning your finances? I really believe, this is my opinion, I believe that everyone should they should reevaluate how much money they're earning each month and then figure out, hey, listen, is this going to allow me to actually live the way I want to live? Now, a lot of people get so pissed off, so dissatisfied with their life. The reason is because guess what? Their choices. You're dissatisfied because of the type of choices that are available to you, not even the type of choices that you're perhaps making, but what's on the plate for you, what you can and can't do. And a lot of this revolves around money, whether you believe it or not. Think about things that you want into your life. You might say, well, you know what? I just want to have some more time with my family. Guess what you need in order for you to have time with your family? You need money, right? Because the only reason why you don't necessarily probably have time with your family doing the things that you want to do is because you don't have the money, because you're having to grind away work to earn that money. Because if you're not working, you're not earning any money. So, number one rule, write down exactly how much you want to earn each month. Now, you may say, Mindy, I know that. I know I should have a goal, but I want you to set yourself an intention. Like, look, here's the area of my life I want to improve. Here's where I am right now. Look at how much you're earning right now. Look at your lifestyle. Look at the temperature of your life. And then understand one thing. The reason why you're there earning that level of money is because that's where you're subconsciously programmed. You can't see how you're going to get past that. It's a program, it's controlling all aspects of your life. And no matter how much you think positively, I believe I can do this, I want to do this, nothing's going to happen until you change a program that's running your show. You ain't running your income. Your conscious mind isn't running your income. It's the subconscious program that you've got going on that's controlling your show. And that's in charge of how you earn money, how long it takes you to earn money, that amount, how much you actually save. It's all down to that one thing. For many years, I just felt it was down to luck. I thought, you know what? Some people just get lucky, some people in the right place at the right time. When you see someone who's had a massive breakthrough in their finances, right? They've gone on from living in a regular 3-4 bed home down a normal street to, within a very short space of time, having a beautiful home, like a drive-in, drive-out driveway, like 3-4 car garage, a new car, they're going on holiday. The kids are changing school, private school and stuff. Their whole life has changed like a lottery winner. But I'm not talking about lottery winner, but think about someone whose life has changed, that maybe you know someone. And the first thing we think of is that person got lucky. They just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Now, I know a lot of people look at me now, that people I've grown up with, people that have known me. Because I ain't a smart guy. I'm really not a smart guy. I'm not really that intelligent either. And they look at me and thinking, well, he's always been into business. He just got lucky. But I've always been into business, but I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't have the right subconscious program to actually run my business the way I wanted it. Think of a business owner. The business owner is running their business because of how they program. This is why sometimes somebody sells a business, they sell it to somebody else comes along, comes into the business and drives it into the fucking ground. It just wipes out the business. Have you ever seen that? Or on the other hand, you see someone who's really struggling in their business, right? The business isn't going anywhere, and someone else comes along and turns that business around. Let's look at a physical location, right? Someone's got a physical location, the premises, right? They got, let's just say, I'll give you an example. I used to own a retail store back in the day, and it was doing really well, okay? But then a few things happened. I lost kind of interest in it, and then the business went down. I got scammed by that mentor, and that caused a lot of issues with that business as well, right? So now I lost interest. So I just wanted to get out there. I wasn't happy there. I wasn't a happy chappy there. And my heart, my passion was into my coaching because I really wanted to grow the coaching. When I handed that store over to someone else who had the drive and the ambition, guess what happened? The retail store went through the roof, and it's just a whole different thing in there. I go in there sometimes now, and I'm like, wow, this is where I used to be. And at one point, I was thriving, but then I had a shift in my mindset, and my results went down. It's down to that person's mindset, their program, how they program. Ever heard that phrase? Anything he or she touches turns to gold. That Midas touch. Anybody can have that. It's not something that you physically touch. It's because you've touched something that you've just put some lucky energy into that. It's not that. It's something that goes on way deeper into our subconscious minds. Now, we can all have shifts. This is what I help my clients do, have these subconscious shifts. Sometimes, like what happens, my clients that come to me with a goal, let's just say their goal is 100,000. And in fact, I'll give you an example. I had one of my clients, she come to me, she had a goal. Her business was dying for like 4 or 5 years. It was crushing out. It was doing nothing. She didn't even realize her accountant sat down with her in January. He said, you know what you've done? Your business has done this much in this month, the revenue of the month. And she goes, I nearly fell off my chair. I was speaking to her about 3-4 days ago. She goes, I nearly fell off my chair because I was not expecting that. Now, she wasn't expecting that, but I've been helping her shift her subconscious mind. And it happened without even knowing. It happens to a lot of people when I work with people. They don't even realize how fast their income's growing because they're making those subconscious shifts. And that's what you got to do. You got to have that subconscious shift. Identify right now what you're programmed for in terms of your earnings. Well, you'll probably say, well, Mindy, how do I do that? How do I realize how much money that I'm actually programmed for? How do I do that? Do I need to look into my bank? Take a look at your results. Your results don't lie. So your results are going to tell you exactly what you're programmed for. Look at how much money that you're earning each month. Have you ever had a month where your income goes through the roof and all of a sudden it crashes back down? It comes back into alignment with your subconscious beliefs. You get temporary and increase your incomes, but what happens is your old subconscious program, your old programming conditioning comes back and it brings everything back into alignment. I used to have this many, many times. I'd have a big month. I'd have a big week. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm having a breakthrough. And what happened? A week later, a month later, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, boom, my income comes back down. And I'm like, I knew this was going to happen to me. I just knew it. And then you tell yourself, you know what? I just knew that this was going to happen. How did you know it was going to happen? Was it something in your subconscious mind that was telling you? Was it the identity that you really were connected to that told you that was going to happen? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Ever had that? That's a real negative belief to actually have. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Now, I don't want to live my life like that. Would you want to live life like that? Do you think it's a good idea? When we think about the how, it kills the creation. So I never think about how I'm going to do something. Just recently, I've been doing some work on myself, just like I coach my clients. I've been doing a certain exercise that I do. And I tell you what, so much has already started to happen in my life in a matter of a week, 10 days. And so much is changing in terms of my behavior. And I've looked back and think, I know why this has happened. So now my behavior starts to change. Now my results start to change. And guess what? I'm attracting different opportunities into my life. We're starting to do things differently in my business, like areas that were untapped, that we're tapping into, that we haven't even tapped into, because I'm shifting my subconscious mind. Like personal growth, it never ends. Personal growth, it never ends. You've got to keep on growing. A lot of people, they'll hire a mentor, they'll hire a coach or whatever. They'll get to a certain point and they'll cut the lifeline off. They'll fire the mentor. That, you know what? I'm great. I'm done now. I don't need your any help. But that's the biggest mistake someone can make. You know, when something's working for you, why the fuck would you want to stop it? Imagine you hire a mentor. Let's just say your business is stuck at 10 grand. a month, and you hire somebody, they take you up to 20, 50, 100, 100K months. Would it be a good idea for you to stop what's working for you? You've hit your goal, you've hired someone to help you, and they've got you to a certain point. And what do you just end it there, the relationship, or do you sort of say, right, well, this is so cool. Now that I've got evidence that this works, then let's renew you. Let's go to that next level. Some of the most successful clients that I have, they renew with me over and over again, over and over again. We've had some people that come in, got the results, and they're off. And that's all cool, but I would want to go to that next level. Imagine that, right now. Do you have someone that holds you accountable? Like, we think about success, you're here because you want to create more success, you want to create more money. But what are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis other than listening to podcasts, maybe reading some books, watching YouTube? What are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis in order for your income to crank up? Do you have like a blueprint that you follow? I think it's really interesting how many people don't. When things really change for me is when I actually got a proper mentor, not like the ones I got ripped off by, but when I really got a good mentor who understood why I was experiencing the results that I kept on getting over and over again, that I didn't want anymore. Now, once I did that, once I changed from that, and I was put on a new journey, a new track, a faster track that didn't have no rust on it, and it's a nice, clean track. I was given exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it on a daily basis, a blueprint. Then what I see, my whole life started to change. I look back now and I look at some of the money that I used to earn. I'm like, I can't make sense of like, how did I didn't even survive. I wasn't even surviving really if I think about it. How did I go on for so long thinking so small? Now I look at other people. I was down in a DIY store yesterday. I was buying some paint. And I heard a lady, like, she's talking about how much money her house is costing. All of these other things are going off one after the other after the other. And she's talking about abundance. She goes, I need some abundance. And I got chatting to this lady, and I said, like, the abundance and about law of attraction. I go, is it real? I was kind of questioning, is it absolutely real? She starts coaching me about how the law of attraction works. And well, this is interesting, right? So had a conversation with her. I'm like, you know how this stuff works, but you're still talking negatively about, like, I need money and it's eating up all this money. It's costing me so much. Never complain about money. Something's costing you. Never complain about money. There's recently I just bought myself a house, and it's like being a big stretch, right? Got a nice house, and now you look at the upkeep of that. I'm thinking, cool. I'm looking at the upkeep. Just bought a house and thinking, right, how do I put myself under some more pressure? Let's go buy a fucking car. Let's do something stupid, right? So I'm looking at a car. I'm not putting myself under pressure, but I'm thinking, right, let me stretch myself. I've got the house now. I want the car. I'm not going to wait another year or 2 years. I want to buy that car and this car now. So I'm stretching myself now. So I'm putting a plan together. Right, how can I bring this extra money in? The money's already there to get the cars. But I'm thinking, what can I do now to incentivize myself to get that car? So I'm setting myself a goal because I want a challenge. I want to have a challenge and feel some kind of pressure. I don't want to put a deadline to it. And guess what? Once you put yourself a deadline to something, you set yourself a challenge and you go moving towards that aggressively, keyword aggressively towards that outcome, you'll start to see that the universe makes way for so much good that comes into your life. You start generating different ideas, you start to act differently, you start to think differently. You no longer tolerate some bullshit with you telling yourself that you can't do something. It can't be done. I want you to be brave, be bold. Think about your program. What's your current program telling you about yourself? Your subconscious program that your money game is running off. It's talking to you every single day. You ever hear that voice when you're sitting in traffic? Maybe you hear that voice, something's telling you about how it's so hard to earn money, how business is crazy, no one's buying out there anymore, the Facebook algorithms all crazy, people are more resistant to buying, the economy's changing, I better retreat, hold back. How many times do you tell yourself something negative on a day-to-day basis? Your subconscious mind is going to accept any idea that you impress upon it. So now I'm really cautious of what I tell myself, about money, what I can, I can't do. Business will be challenging at times, right? It's going to be challenging. Everybody faces a challenge. And that's simply an area for you to grow. You use these challenges, these obstacles, so-called obstacles, you actually use them as a springboard. Say, right, this is what's in my way. So why don't I fucking jump on this and bounce the fuck over this like crazy? Anytime I see something in my way, it's not even in my way. It's just a sign to me that I'm going in the right direction because, success is outside your comfort zone. So when you have an obstacle, you have a hurdle. Do you see that as a hurdle? Or do you think, right, you know what, I'm going the right way? Because on the other side of this road bump, there's going to be a reward. There's going to be an open road where all the good stuff is. Think about this. You're in a circle, and around you, there's like loads of bumps, right? And you've got this really brand new car that you don't want to mess up. You don't want to mess up the wheels. You're thinking, if I go over that, it's going to damage something. And so you don't even go out your zone, right? There's a nice new town, but you're so afraid that you're going to do some damage. The fear's locked up. Now, on the other side, once you get over that road bump, imagine you open up a whole new universe. All the things that you wanted are on the other side of that road bump or road hump, whatever you want to call it. Everything that you want right now is there, but you've got to do something illogical in terms of your actions, your thinking, your believing, your decision making if you're going to get there. A lot of people play the big game that I want this, I want that, I'm going to do this, but they don't back it up with the right sequence of actions that you've got to take. There's a whole blueprint to creating success. It's a lawful process. It's not just guesswork. And this is why people come to me to get the blueprint, because I've done it for myself. Once you've done it for yourself and you've done it for other people, you can do it for anybody else. So I understand how to reprogram the subconscious mind. So listen, let me give you a little picture. If you've been listening to one of my podcasts, right? People say you shouldn't really pitch on a podcast. Why not? It's my podcast. You're my listener. If I can help you through sharing with you what I do, and we can like form a relationship, and you come into my mentorship, and if it helps you, what's wrong with that? A lot of people I find have a problem with sales. That's another thing, right? Subconscious program. It affects you in many different ways. Imagine if I could share my blueprint with you. You've probably seen some of the results that would help people get. Imagine if you reached out to me, you sent us an email, right, and said, "Look, Mindy, I want your help. I want to inquire about your mentorship, right? I'm serious about my results." What's wrong with that? If I can help you, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with me saying to you right now, I can help you? So who can you help right now that you're not helping? Think about all the people that could do with your products and services that you have, but you're not reaching out to anybody. You're not letting them know that you're available to help them. You're available to supply services to them. If they won't come to you, you go to them. Okay. So today, think about what your money program is. How much money are you earning, and how much money do you really want to earn? It's like coding. You can recode how much money that you want to earn. You just recode something. Like a web developer, they do coding. You have the same thing going on in your unconscious mind, just a bunch of code that's running your financial game right now. Right now, unless you change that code, you know how to do it, your income's not going to really grow. And it's just like a virus, a money virus. I call it the money virus. So I want you to earn more money. I want you to be okay with wanting more money. And I want you to think about what more could you do if you had the extra $20,000 a month coming in. To you, $20,000 might be a lot of money, but to a lot of people, it's not a lot of money. So if you're one of those people that $20 wouldn't really change, you're already doing 20, 30. Think about 100. What would that do to you? Now you're probably thinking, well, how am I going to do that? I'm already working 70, 80 hours a week. There's a way, a smarter way. Let's show you my way. So figure out exactly how much money that you want to earn, because you can have it, right? So I'll see you on the next podcast.